Good afternoon, you guys. There's a concept I'm here to tell you about today. It's going to teach you about how to achieve ultimate healing. And this concept has not been talked about. It does not seem to be talked about a lot on social medias, on just period. I don't actually hear it anywhere. So I'm here to bring it up to everyone because they need to start to get this topic inside of their head. What this topic is the 12 mineral cell salts and why this is so important and imperative that you figure this out within your own body and you stop making this so complicated. Like I'm hearing all this separation stuff. So they'll say, go get this Celtic salt, or this Baja Gold salt, or this Himalayan salt, or go get this to fix the deficiency here, or go get this to, and it's like, listen, okay, let's just tell you how you can find the deficiencies out, and also that as above, so below. And what I'm talking about is the zodiac sign. I'm talking about astrology. I'm talking about, it's not looking up at the stars. It's talking about looking within yourself and saying, I am a star on this planet. It's me. And once you understand how this actually works, try to understand how numbers are aligned in the space and how these numbers are what is the basis for all these patterns and how the cells affect the cells within you. So this is one of the things that I found a couple of years ago. And I started to understand it by experimentation, started to go through the process of doing it for myself. I started to go through the process of figuring out how to do it for others and also seeing it within other people. And then it changed how I saw health and wellness. This is the concept of the 12 inorganic mineral present in each cell, which was identified by Dr. Wilhelm Schussler. He's a German physician and biochemist. They call him the father of modern homeopathy. So what he did was he found minerals in cadavers, in animals, in people, essentially dead people. And he wanted to know what they died from. He found that there was a common pattern of minerals, including the forms of calcium, magnesium, iron, potassium, silica, and sodium that were missing from each one of these cadavers. He basically said these essential salts act as catalysts for cellular biochemical processes within the human body. So he proposed that the illnesses that were related to a deficiency in one or more of these 12 mineral substances, when a deficiency is corrected, normal cellular function and health is restored. Meaning, it's like a graphic equalizer. If you look at it like a stereo system that has a graphic equalizer, that you raise up treble, mid, bass, all these different things. And all of these things are actually salt. And the stereo system is you. You're the actual stereo system that's playing the sound, that allows the radio frequency to come into you, that changes the station based upon your level of attention, will, and your attitude. You're the one that's changing the station on the radio. So a stereo is a perfect comparison to the actual human body, because what it does is it's emitting a sound, as are you out in the screen of space. So the field, which is the screen of space I'm talking about, the 3D world, you are emitting a sound. And if you have gaps and deficiencies in these minerals, the sound is going to change. That's what sonocytology is. Sonocytology says that your cells make a sound. Everything makes a sound. Everything's vibrating, but it also emits a sound. Now you should have these deficiencies corrected, taken care of. But let me tell you how to identify them first, and also why they're so important based upon the zodiac. So, in the case of these 12 inorganic mineral cell salts, they correspond in vibration to one of the 12 signs of the zodiac. Listen to what I just said. They correspond in vibration, because everything is vibrating, to one of the 12 signs of the zodiac. So as above, so below, the human body is an epitome of the cosmos, meaning we are the stars, meaning we are the space. Therefore, the physical and energetic systems of the human body, the tissues and the organs, each correspond to one of these signs. Now, you're going to see it broken down. And this is how you have platonic solids. This is how you have the three systems in terms of there's a renewal system, there's an energetic system, there's a cleaning system. So the first system is cardinal, which is the renewal system. This is the magnetic force, the creating, the rebuilding. And it starts off with 4 categories. So you'll see it as if you had a chart. And I'll post a link to my write-up on this. I had got this inspiration from, actually, was Santos Bonacci, his website, and also reading the book called God, Man, Word Made Flesh by Dr. Schussler and Dr. George W. Carey and Inez Eudora Perry. They basically took Dr. Schussler's ideas and they made it into a more complex system of healing. And so this is what the system is created from. So we'll start with cardinal. Now you have a fire, you have an earth, you have an air, you have a water, all of these different signs. And you also have the ether. Those are your platonic solids. So right now the ether extends it by itself. That's the ether is the field that surrounds us all. So that's the ether. Now you have fire, earth, air, water. So in the cardinal system, the renewal system, the magnetic force, the creating, the rebuilding, this is the Aries, the Capricorn, the Libra, the Cancer. Aries is the fire, Capricorn is the earth, Libra is the air, Cancer is the water. You'll start to see it in the fixed system, energetic system, the vital force. Leo is the fire, Taurus is the earth, Aquarius is the air, Scorpio is the water. Then you go down again, you'll have the mutable, the cleaning system, the electric force, the purification. This is Sagittarius, which is the fire. You have Virgo, which is the earth, Gemini, which is the air, and you have the Pisces, which is the water. So this is the way that you can read a chart based on the book, God, Man, Word Made Flesh. The way that Perry and George W. Carey, the way that they did this was, first of all, you got to change the meaning of the word flesh. So the word made flesh, what they're talking about is there's a statement in that says, man's conceived in sin and brought forth in iniquity. I remember this being Catholic when I was growing up, and I would go to mass in the morning, and I remember that the priest would, before we took the communion, the priest would say, "Wash away my iniquities," and then I remember all of this, like, you know, they had the server with the bread and the server with the wine that would stand, because my mom was a Eucharistic minister. She would administer the bread, and I was actually an usher in the church, so I would be passing around the collection with my father, and I would bring it up to the altar. And I always remembered that I always hear the priest say, "Wash away my iniquities." And that's because the statement that man's conceived in sin and brought forth in iniquity. And so if you look at the meaning of the word, which is actually, it's a Bible term, but it's a term that came from Middle English and Old French and from Latin, iniquitous. So what it means is immoral or grossly unfair behavior. So what he's saying is, wash away my immoral or grossly unfair behavior. That's what I was catching on to, that's what the priest was saying. But that's not what the meaning of it actually is in terms of what Carey and Inez Eudora Perry are saying in their book. They're saying that it's a threefold meaning: chemical, physiological, and astrological. This is why I believe that the Bible is a book of human anatomy solely, and it's telling me how to govern my own vessel. And they use all these stories to tell me what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to be, all these types of things. So how I interpret is how I interpret it. But what they're saying is the real meaning is that the human embryo remains 9 months within a female reproductive system. During the 9 months of the gestation, the embryo receives and appropriates the creative energies of 9 of these cell salts. It's talking about cell salt. But it's falling short 3 months of completing a solar or soul year, which is a 12-month year. The 3-month space is the bridge of life and consists of a mineral-based foundation. This is the journey of the ego from the moon to the earth, or conception. Now, as 12 represents the circle and stands for completion, that's what the 12 represents. The human body will always be missing stones in the temple. These are references to what the Bible is expressing. Cell salts is saying it'll always be missing cell salts because its period of formation in the womb is only 9 months. So if you stayed in the womb for 12 months, you would have all of the cell salt, but you stayed in the womb most likely for 9 months. So 12 months, which is 12 salts, minus the 9 months gestation, which is 9 salts. These are with a 90-degree quadrant of 3 months, where the cellular biosynthesis, this is what is stated, of these minerals were unable to manifest, so they were not able to be created in a time. So these 3 salts, according to Carey, are to be supplied after the parting of the umbilical cord, because the umbilical cord is how you are fed whenever you are in the womb. The chemical union of these biosalts with the organic matter, such as lipids, fibrin, albumin, etc. They form the various tissues of the body and administer to the physiological needs as represented by the bridge. This bridging allows the cells to respond more harmoniously and completely to the divine energy. So, what is it saying? That the cell salt corresponding with the sign of the zodiac and the function of the body is consumed more rapidly than all the other salt, and therefore requiring an extra amount to supply the deficiency caused by the sun's influence at that particular time. Meaning it's draining you of everything and you have to put in more. When someone's under emotional stress, people will use up more of the cell salts associated with their moon sign and south node of the moon. When these minerals are depleted, common symptoms experienced may be anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. Identifying and supplementing with the cell salts will strengthen your moon and restore balance. This is how you actually achieve balance, mental balance. Understanding the vital signs and symptoms of the mineral deficiencies and knowing your planetary positions, you will be able to identify which cell salts you need to restore optimal health and cellular function. These tissue salts can be applied to assist in the treatment of acute and chronic conditions, bacterial, viral, and fungal. And common disorders that respond to the tissue salts include colds and flus, gastrointestinal upsets, slow healing wounds, skin disorders, ear and eye infections, headaches, insomnia, and irritability. The cell salts are 100% safe. Kids, they're actually included in my herbal formulas, all 12 of them. And kids take them, adults take them, and my animals take them. Both of my dogs, I experimented on both of my pit bulls, and they had wonderful stools and they had wonderful energy. They're 100% safe. The issue is that you're supposed to get them from the food. You're supposed to get these salts from the food that you're consuming. Now, let me express to you that most of the food that people consume in this day and age does not have these 12 mineral cell salts. So what is the issue? The issue is mineral deficiency, and it's caused by diet and lifestyle and lack of actual nutritious food that's giving you everything that you need. So you would look at the chart. It's basically a chart that shows your conception date all the way, and it's a circle, the 12 signs of the zodiac around in a circle. And I'm a Taurus. I was born on April 26th. So I'll use myself as a example. Because I was born in April 26th, I was probably, you basically have like a backwards count. So if you're conceived on March 21st or April 26th, or actually I'll use the example I have on my chart. Conception date is March 21st. And so that means that this person is going to be born full term December 21st. Now it's going to go all the way around. That means that you're in Aries as you're born on, or if you're conceived on March 21st. You're going to take all 9 months. So that's going to be March, April, May, June, July, August, etc., all the way till December 21st. So the deficiency is going to be the salt in between from the time of December to March, which are going to be the January, the February, and that's where it's going to be. It's going to fall into that category. So you'll see that if you were conceived then and you're in the Aries, your deficiencies are going to, and I'm going to express how this works in terms of the actual salt. So let's see which salt attaches to which salt. So Aries, that's going to be caliphosphate. Capricorn, that's going to be calcium phosphate. Libra, that's going to be sodium phosphate. You're going to see Cancer, calcium fluoride. Leo, magnesium phosphate. Taurus, sodium sulfate. Aquarius, sodium myrrh, which is basically nat myrrh, is what they call it, nat myrrh. You'll have Scorpio, calcium sulfate. Sagittarius, silica. Virgo, kali sulfate. Gemini, which is kali myrrh. Pisces, iron phosphate. So now, the deficiencies in this case would fall into the categories of, and you would say, let me see, it would be Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, which are going to be the 3 that it falls into the category on the circle. So that means the deficiencies would be in Capricorn, which would be calcium phosphate. Then you would have Aquarius, which would be sodium myrrh, which essentially is sodium chloride. And then you would have Pisces, so myrrh is, you would say chloride. And then Pisces, you would say iron phosphate. Those would be your 3 deficiencies. And you have to find a way to fill in those deficiencies and eat more of them, because that's what you're going to be deficient in. So let's compare. So that's the 12 mineral cell salts and their signs. Now let's go into the 12 systems of the human body, because this is how we're going to have to compare these things and what these salts fill in the systems that they affect. Because the systems of the human body are based on the 12 signs of the zodiac. It's all going to be a comparison of the 12. So your body is a whole system of 12. That's why this is so meaningful for you to understand each one of these things in systems and how the numbers correlate and respond to each other. So first system, cardiovascular system. It's the blood, the heart, the arteries, the capillaries, and the veins. The functions of this system are to pump blood to and from the heart to supply oxygen to the body. This is also why in our chakra detox program, your cardiovascular system is so important in terms of mitochondria, because you have the largest consolidation of mitochondria cells and the function inside the heart. That's the power of the cell. That's the power cell, the function of it to create ATP and energy. That's why the system is so important, cardiovascular system. You need to supply oxygen to the body and the brain. Digestive system is going to be number 2. So number 2 is your system of digestion. These organs include your mouth, esophagus, stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, small and large intestine, your appendix, and your rectum. The functions of this system of digestion: break down food, extract nutrients from foods, and deliver the products to the blood for dispersal to the body cells, and excretes waste products from the body, meaning it gets rid of the bad stuff. This is also why we're going to get into lymphatics in a way, but this is all going to be interconnected. Endocrine system produces chemical messengers and hormones into the blood, which direct the activities of different organ systems, regulate growth, development, and homeostasis. The organs: the thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, adrenal glands, pituitary glands, hypothalamus, pancreas, which is the part that produces insulin, your pancreas, and also other hormones. That's the pancreas. Your stomach, the cells that produce the gastrin, and your pineal gland, your ovaries and your testes. Yes, your ovaries and your testes. This is all in part of the endocrine system. You thought it was reproductive, but no, this is how it works. So there's a system down there as there is a system up here. Ovaries and testes, obviously, you would think if reproduction, you're talking about in terms of sex, but it's still part of the endocrine system. You have the eyes and the ears sensory system, provide vision and hearing and interpret visual and oral information about external conditions. That's basically your eyes and your ears, your sensory. So it's incoming, it's coming in. Immune and hematology system. This is basically your bone marrow, which forms new blood and immune cells. Immune cells that fight pathogens and get rid of cancer cells. Red blood cells that carry oxygen around your body. And this will also be like T cells. Those T cells in terms of the thymus gland. Those T cells that go in to have like the army to fight off intruders, and they get rid of these things, and then the red blood cells that carry oxygen around your body. Your lymphatic system, lymph nodes, which is your tonsils, lymph nodes, tonsils, thymus, spleen, a secondary circulatory system that helps the body fight pathogens and maintain its fluid balance by getting rid of. It cycles, it recycles the good things and gets rid of the bad things through digestive areas to get it out. But your lymph, this is the lymphatic system. It has to see it has to decipher what are these things that are good or bad. It has to figure this out. And if it's backed up because you're not moving the system of digestion, then this becomes a problem and now floods your body full of toxicity, and that's how you can potentially get sick. Not potentially, but you get sick. Not potentially at all. You're gonna get sick. So it's not potential, you're gonna get sick. If it's backed up, you're gonna get sick. Then the lymphatic system is gonna be the system of CSF, spinal fluid. They both are mixed with interstitial fluid. And both of these systems need to be cleaned out. If the lymph is backed up with your blood and interstitial fluid, then your lymph is backed up inside your brain. And that's where you get this pressure that starts to build up because you have too much waste material that's backed up because you're not digesting your food properly. This is all, and I'm going to express to you that this is all based upon perception. And the switch is the perception, how you're thinking, endocrine system. So, musculoskeletal system, which is your muscles, bones, joints, tendons, and ligaments. This provides structure, support for other tissues, and allows motion of the body. Your nervous system, which is your brain, nervous, spinal cord, the body's speech, electrochemical communication system, consisting of all the nerve cells of the peripheral and central nervous systems. And this enables you to think, you be self-aware, and also express emotions. People are so blocked up in their energy, are also so acidic, that they can't get a connection and a message to go from the nervous system to the rest of your body. So you start to see people with Parkinson's and the Alzheimer's and the dementia. It's just a collection of waste buildup. When you can clear the waste out, and when you can get this free-flowing energy space, that now you attach yourself back to the infinite, to the source. Now you start to have this free-flowing energy. Now you can communicate from yourself to yourself. Reproductive system. It's your organ system which functions in creating offspring. So penis, prostate gland, seminal vesicles, vas deferens and testes in males, ovaries, uterus, cervix, fallopian tubes, and vagina in females. Respiratory system, responsible for breathing. These parts include the lungs, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, lungs, and diaphragm. This adds oxygen to the blood and removes carbon dioxide from your blood. And people put it right back in. They drink it in soda or sparkling water. Anything that says sparkling, you're supposed to remove the carbon dioxide from your blood, and you literally are putting it back in. This is what your respiratory system does for you. So just understand how backwards a lot of these things that people are taking in really are. Let's go to the skin. Organ system that includes hair, skin, and the underlying structures of connective tissue, including fat, glands, and blood vessels and nails. So your skin provides a barrier protection between the inside of the body and the external environment. It provides sensory information and regulates body temperature. So your skin's important. It's pretty much your largest organ is going to be your skin because it's wrapped all the way around all of you. Your urinary system is going to be the kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra. Functions: filters waste product from the blood, removes waste from the body, and helps to maintain water and electrolyte balance. Urinary system. This is a system that also, all of them actually, take a toll whenever you get backed up. So, in your face, let me do this real quickly where I show you that you'll have cell salt deficiencies and they'll be in your face. So I'm going to use my face, for example, and you're going to follow me. These are the cell salt deficiencies. This is where they're located in your face. Now, I'm going to give you the actual organs first. So here, if you cut this area right here, this area right here, this is going to be your gallbladder. If you cut this area right here, this is going to be your bladder. If you cut this area through the center of that, that's going to be your stomach. And right on the side, in between the bladder and again, the gallbladder, is going to be your liver. So up top in your forehead, you'll see gallbladder, bladder, liver, and stomach. Now, let's keep going. Your ears. If you have ear issues, any kind of ear issues, that's going to be the kidneys. If you have under your eyelids, stomach, kidney, liver. I'll do it again. Directly under the eyelid, it's going to be stomach, kidney, liver. I'm talking about no football player with the face paint, okay? You'll have your stomach, your kidney, and your liver. And then right under it, just right above the nostrils of the nose, you'll have the heart, and then you'll have the colon. Then you'll have your lungs, which is going to be just below on the side of the nostrils, your lungs. Then keep going, you're going to have the actual tip of the nose, which is going to be the heart. Now keep going under that, right in between the nose and the top of your lip, you have the spleen. Then also keep going, you'll have the liver, then you'll have again the stomach, the top lip, you'll have the intestines on your bottom lip, then you'll have on the side, right here on your cheek, you'll have again the stomach, and then on this side, right, on the side of your bottom lip, you'll have your colon, and then you'll have the kidney. So those are the deficiencies in terms of the organs where they're going to be affected the most. So let's talk about Aries. Cell salt number 6 is this caliphosphate. So this is found, and Cali is potassium. So we'll say potassium phosphate. This is found in tissues and fluids of the body, notably of the brain and nerve cells. So Aries is responsible for the head. It's responsible for the brain and nerve cells. It has an antiseptic action and counteracts decay in the organism. Potassium phosphate is indicated for the treatment of nervous headaches, nervous dyspepsia, sleeplessness, depression, languid weariness, lowered vitality, grumpiness, and many other conditions. Potassium phosphate is not just a pick-me-up, it's like an important constituent of nerve tissue and has a powerful influence on the body and on the bodily functions. It covers ailments comprehended by the nervous system. Potassium phosphate is indicated in treatment of shingles, to correct underlying nervous conditions. It's helpful for the relief of nervous asthma in conjunction with magnesium phosphate, and insomnia when of nervous origin also call for these two tissue salts. So facial signs and symptoms of deficiency, they present as brown coating of the tongue, dry tongue, gray ocular parts, sunken temples, ash gray chin, especially around the chin, bleeding gums. So when you brush your teeth and you have bleeding gums, periodontitis, halitosis, and absent expression. So let's keep going. So now Taurus, which is actually me. I'm sodium sulfate. This is a water eliminator. This regulates the density of the intercellular fluids which bathe the tissue salts. Mind you, in the Alkalign Lifestyle, we focus on the solvent, which you'll have solute, okay? And when you see the words solute versus solvent, and this is probably the biggest thing. So solute is the substance that's being dissolved in a solution, which is essentially the salt. But the solvent is the liquid in which the solute is dissolved in, which is you, which is the water. So we focus on the water, which is you, purifying the water, and then you purify what goes into the water. You got to purify the water first. The environment outside the cell needs to be purified, and then you got to purify the cell. But we do it at the same time. That's what the focus is. You got to purify the inside and the outside, the inner environment of the cell and the outer cell environment. So if you have a deficiency in sodium sulfate, this tissue salt controls the healthy functioning of the liver. So again, if you remember on the face, I was talking about the liver, which is going to be in here, which is going to be down here, and which is going to be under here. So look at someone's face and you can be able to tell. Okay, so when you have the tissue salt controls the function of the liver, it ensures an adequate supply of free-flowing, healthy bile. Bile is needed for the breakdown of, and also for the later stages of digestion. So bile is used to break down what's coming in. The removal of the chemical exchange constantly taking place in the tissue cells is brought about by the action of sodium sulfate. The conditions arise which allow these waste fluids to accumulate in the blood and tissues. Auto-intoxication, which is self-poisoning, is a result. And so sodium sulfate ensures the disposal of these poison-charged fluids, and its importance in the treatment of rheumatic ailments is therefore self-evident. Sodium sulfate is indicated in the treatment of ailments affecting the liver, biliousness, sand deposits in the urine, watery infiltration, a brownish-green coating of the tongue, and a bitter taste in the mouth are some of the symptoms. It's the principal remedy in the treatment of influenza, eliminating the excess of toxic fluids from the system. Facial signs of deficiency present as green, yellow complexion, especially forehead and temples, green, and that's up here. Bluish redness in the nose, bluish redness in the front of the ears, redness in the external corner of the eye, tongue looks dirty and greenish. Those are the deficiencies when you don't have enough. And talking about water eliminator. Let's keep going. So Gemini, potassium chloride, this is Gemini. It's a blood purifier and glandular tonic. So potassium chloride is a remedy for sluggish conditions. It combines with the organic substance fibrin. Thus, a deficiency of this tissue salt causes fibrin to become non-functional and to be thrown off in the form of thick white discharges, giving rise to cataract and similar symptoms affecting the skin and mucous membrane. Soft glandular swellings call for this remedy, also chronic rheumatic swellings. Its action is complementary to that of calcium sulfate. Both remedies are concerned with cleansing and purifying the blood. So it is of particular value in the treatment of infantile eczema. If you got this condition of eczema, this is one of the big things that you're going to need. An alteration with iron phosphate is frequently needed for the treatment of children's ailments. So potassium chloride is the remedy for thick, white, fibrinous discharges. Other prominent symptoms are a white-coated tongue and light-colored stools, which means you have a lack of bile. Bile. Torpidity of the liver is another indication. An alternation with iron phosphate is indicated in the treatment of inflammatory diseases, particularly those affecting the respiratory system, which is coughs, colds, sore throats, tonsillitis, bronchitis, and etc. So potassium chloride is concerned with the protection of saliva. It's therefore important in the early stages of digestion. This is why I'm expressing to you that all 12 systems are, it's not a separation, you guys. You gotta start to understand that you need to have this, to have this, to have this, to have this, to have this. It's like you're knocking down pins and dominoes, but they all have an effect. If this is not taken care of, the rest of this is not taken care of, which is why I don't believe in specialists. It doesn't make sense. You can't be specializing in cardiovascular. You don't know anything about lymphatic. It doesn't make sense because it's all in unison. If all 12 systems are not in unison and are not in harmony, you don't have health. You don't have any immunity. The immunity is when all 12 are in harmony. So, symptoms may be worse after eating fatty or rich foods, and there may be lack of appetite. So with potassium chloride, with sodium chloride, it's utilized in the production of hydrochloric acid. It's thus an essential link in the process of digestion. Again, so sodium chloride. Now, facial signs and symptoms of deficiency present as milky skin, blue-white skin color, skin like cheese, swollen lymphatic knots, white coating of the tongue, mealy skin dandruff, or stuck together eyes. So whenever you probably just get up or so you have stuck together eyes, this is a sign of potassium chloride cell salt deficiency. Let's keep going. You have cancer and calcium fluoride. Calcium fluoride, this is an elasticity salt. Calcium fluoride is present in the surface of your bones, in the enamel of your teeth, and the elastic fibers of the skin, muscular tissues, and blood vessels. A deficiency of calcium fluoride results in a relaxed condition of the tissues. So the tissue salt is indicated wherever symptoms are due to a relaxed condition, which is enlarged and varicose veins. If you got varicose veins, this is a simple way for you to look at, again, deficiency. Associated with ulcerations and eczema, plies, sluggish circulation, relaxed throat. It should also be considered for constipation. So when due to relaxed muscles of the rectum. A backache with dragging down pain, bearing pain, call for this remedy. So does chronic synovitis. Calcium fluoride is also of value for diseases affecting the surface of the bones, cracks and cuts in the skin, a poor condition of the enamel of the teeth, call for this tissue salt. So, calcium fluoride should not be confused with sodium fluoride. So this is an important note, which is used for fluoridating water supplies. This is not it. This is unknown risk, so just make sure you don't confuse it with this thing. Facial signs and symptoms of deficiency are square folds around the eyes, diversified folds below the eyes, brown-black coloring around the eyes, burst veins, scales in the face, cracked lips, corners of the mouth, hands and fingers. So periodontitis and also shining skin. These are deficiencies of calcium fluoride because it's about elasticity. This is where you get tissue elasticity inside of your body. So let's keep going. Leo and magnesium phosphate. Nerve relaxant, anti-spasmodic salt. Magnesium phosphate is connected with the nervous system. This is really big because the nervous system may have so many issues, and this is as a result of the chemicals people are putting in. Let me really get you guys to understand the prevalence of this deficiency. So this supplements the action, magnesium phosphate is connected with the nervous system where it supplements the action of potassium phosphate. When a deficiency of magnesium phosphate occurs, the white nerve fibers contract. They cause spasms and cramps. The tissue salt is important to the muscular tissue to ensure rhythmic and coherent movement. And so this salt, it's big because you can talk about high blood pressure, you can talk about, because magnesium is one of these things that allows for these contractions and relaxations to allow these valves of the heart to pass through. Magnesium phosphate is quick to relieve pain, especially cramping, shooting, darting, or spasmodic pains. Magnesium phosphate is indicated for nerve pain, such as neuralgia, neuritis, sciatica, and headaches, accompanied by shooting, darting, stabs, or pain. It relieves muscular twitching, cramps, hiccups, convulsive fits of coughing, and those sudden sharp twinges of pain that are so distressing. It also relieves menstrual pain, stomach cramps, and flatulence respond to treatment with this tissue salt. These symptoms may be aggravated by cold and by touching and are relieved by the application of heat, by pressure and by bending. The dose may be taken at frequent intervals until relief is obtained. Facial signs of symptoms of deficiency are red, round spots on the cheeks. And this can be always or temporarily. You also have red spots in the neck, otherwise pale skin, convulsions of the corners of the mouth, twitches of the eyelids. This is a deficiency of magnesium phosphate.